Hey guys, Stanford here from the Robotics Network, and welcome back to an episode of FUNalysis. And today we're going to be taking a look at finals match number 2 from the Pikes Peak Regional. This match is one of the few examples from week 1 that was a high-scoring match that was still close. So we'll be taking a look at the two strategies used in this match on either side of the field in what could be a preview of high-level play of Rebuilt. We'll also be taking a look at what I think is a potentially underutilized autonomous strategy. There also might be some fuel stealing on the part of one of these alliances, and 2 different defensive strategies in this match. So stay tuned for a look at all that and more on another episode of FUNalysis.
Before we get to our next segment, we'd like to thank the following. It isn't too late to order competition apparel for your team at FRC Tees. Founded by FRC alumni and offering a free 14-day turnaround with expedited options available, go to frctees.com to see why hundreds of teams are making FRC Tees their first choice for their apparel needs. That's frctees.com. As you're getting ready for the competition season, think AndyMark as your one-stop shop for all your team needs. AndyMark's Launcher in a Box is a configurable solution that so many teams are finding success with for the rebuilt season. Also available at AndyMark.com, the AMPD AndyMark Power Distribution Board that provides 24 40-amp independently fused output channels for safe, reliable power distribution. That's AndyMark.com.
All right, folks, so just getting into this match. So first, let's take a look at what you might be seeing here and the teams that are going to be playing in this match. So first up is Alliance 1 over here. They're captained by Team 498, the Cobra Commanders, who are having a very, very strong season so far, with, debatably the best team at the Pikes Peak Regional. And they would rank first and go ahead and pick up Team 8044 Denim Venom as their first pick. You can see them down in the camera view over here. That team is a very strong, high turreted shooter. So a very interesting team to watch play on the field. And they would also pick up Team 3288 Punchers as their second pick. Meanwhile, on the other side of the field, we've got Alliance 2, captained by Team 9048, who are kind of very nearly underneath a blue trench at this point. That's the Chargers as the captain of the number 2 seed alliance. They would pick up Team 4499, the Highlanders, as their first pick, which is interesting in that they are a very similar robot to Team 8044 Denim Venom. And they would finally pick up Team 8334 Titan Robotics as their second pick. So also some context as to what's happening in finals match number 2 here. Alliance 2 actually won finals match number 1 by penalties. So this red alliance is facing a little bit of additional pressure here because, they want the regional win. Meanwhile, this blue alliance is trying to seal the deal and see what they can do to potentially steal this from underneath the red alliance. So as we get into autonomous, I think there's a very interesting contrast as to what happens on either side of the field with those 2 similar robots I mentioned earlier. So already the mad scramble in the middle has already happened. The field's looking kind of barren relative to how it was maybe 5 seconds prior to this. And what you're seeing is, the 4 primary scoring robots in this match have all gone for the center of the field. And 8044 don't return to the center of the field. Meanwhile, 4499 tries to. So 4499 is trying to do the kind of, we've seen it a couple of times, double sweep auto. So they come out, go back in, go back out, come back in. Meanwhile, 8044 does that sweep. They go out to midfield and pick up what they can. But afterwards, they go to the human player station and pick up the 24 balls that are stationed there. And they're already shooting. So contrast that with 4499, who are going to be running back, and they're going to run out of time to shoot. They only get 2 out of their robot before autonomous ends. And what that means is the Red Alliance has 1 autonomous. So I can't say for sure whether or not there's enough balls in 4499's hopper to have one autonomous. But what I can say is that it would have helped if they were able to get those shots off. So something that might be interesting for teams to consider is that if you don't think you can really pull off a double sweep auto, and you want something potentially a little bit simpler, the player station is, I think, an underutilized thing to see during autonomous, because it's 24 balls that you don't have to cross a bump to go get. You can just load them straight into the top of your robot. You don't even need your intake for it. And then you can just move out a little bit and shoot. And we saw even the highest, craziest level teams doing this, especially in Istanbul early in week 1. But even for teams that might not have the resources or capabilities to have a full field localization and all that kind of crazy stuff to go do a double sweep auto, this is kind of an option to get some additional game pieces into your robot. So I think it's something that, we should be seeing more as the season goes on. So largely because of that delta in auto, the Red Alliance is already up and the Blue Alliance is facing a bit of an uphill battle here. Now, 4499 does actually get that fuel out of their robot before the match starts. And as you can see, that already pulls them closer ahead. However, 498, a monster of a robot, they've already filled up that hopper once and have already unloaded it and, pulled the Red Alliance back into contention here. So now it's going to be all about the Red Alliance prepping for their shift and the Blue Alliance now on their shift. So again, that's the huge reason you want to win autonomous, is that you get more time to prep for your shift. And we're going to see the effect that it has on the Red Alliance. If we back up, the Blue Alliance is not quite ready for it to go, and they are now taking advantage of it, right? They've got 2 full hoppers that are unloading. So they're kind of using that opportunity to catch up, but 8044 just sent a salvo across the field. And you can see it kind of landing in the corner down here near the Molex sponsorship logo. And that's going to be extremely helpful for them, but we're going to see how that might get disturbed in a little bit. So 4499 getting some shots in 9068, trying to make their way back as quickly as they can. And these shots, I think, are going to be counted. There is a 3-second delay after the hub is turned off. So those that will actually be counted and help this Blue Alliance stay ahead, or try to stay ahead in this match. Meanwhile, on the other side of the field, as these 2 teams, the Blue Alliance over here, are scrambling to try to get as much fuel as they can in the little time they have left, 8044 and 498 are patiently waiting their turn, and when that comes, they send a rain of fuel down onto that hub and very nearly pull ahead and actually do pull ahead in one single motion, basically, because they had time to prep. Both their hoppers are full. They're just sitting there waiting patiently and enjoying life. I also want to highlight the kind of defensive actions that are happening here. So 8334 is going to be playing defense in pretty much entirely in the Red Alliance's zone. So they're trying to stop 498 and 8044, especially 498, who don't have a turret, from scoring during their on periods. They're going to have some issues with kind of committing to that, unfortunately. And that will kind of hurt the Blue Alliance just a little bit, but it's what's happening. Meanwhile, 3288 is just kind of hanging out midfield, enjoying life. And you'll notice something very interesting that I'll touch on in a second. They're going to be essentially trying to play midfield defense the entire time. So this is not something we have seen very often so far in this game, where they're basically sweeping away at the middle of the field, playing a hybrid defense / pushing balls into the Red Alliance's zone strategy, which I think is interesting, right? When there's not nice, convenient piles for them to push, they're playing defense against the Blue Alliance robots that are chasing those small piles that are on the field. Kind of the stuff like this. So that, I think, is a very interesting way of using your second pick in this game that we could potentially see much more of. And then I touched on it briefly in a minute. I'm going to go back a little bit here. You'll notice that there is 5 robots in the Red Alliance zone. So during the Blue Alliance's off period, instead of trying to collect balls and kind of shove them onto their side, they might already be thinking that this is enough. They're going to go try to steal fuel from the Red Alliance. So 4499 is trying to steal fuel quite literally from underneath Denim Venom. And that's a very interesting thing to try. I would potentially argue that it backfires on them and that they are not as prepared for their next on period. But it is still an interesting exploration of, what would happen if you tried to starve your partners or your opponents during their on period. So that, I think, was a very interesting thing to see tried, especially with 5 robots being on one side of the field. You'll also see that it kind of backfires for 9068, who gets stuck on the bump for just a little bit. So, as time goes on, I think this is another lesson for some teams in this game. A lot of teams try to kind of complicate this game a lot, and this is kind of playing out a lot of the discussions I saw happening around kickoff of, we're going to play defense during this period and load up during this period. And, this Blue Alliance is actually fast enough and good enough to be able to try all of those things and have them pretty much work out. But I think this might just be a little bit of trying to overcomplicate what is happening in this game. But that is just kind of what I'm thinking about in this match. Watching it, also kind of having drive coached this game and knowing how chaotic it can be out there. But as a result, the Red Alliance does now have to go searching for their game pieces in midfield. And this is why I think the fuel stealing thing might not have been the best move, is that immediately afterwards, the Red Alliance is turned off. So all they're going to be focused on is just getting as much fuel onto their side of the field as possible, which kind of negates the whole stealing thing, in my opinion. But 498, 8044, both loading up that hopper, and 4499 is just cleaning up that side of the field. 9068 is trying to make their way back as best they can. They are going to be successful and face a little bit of that midfield defense I was talking about with 3288. As they start to make their way back and kind of unload one last volley as the time is expiring on their on period. So Blue Alliance pulls back ahead, but it's now the Red Alliance's turn. So the Red Alliance, again, very patiently waiting, 2 full hoppers, 8044 and 498. But this time 498 is going to be facing a little bit more pressure from 8334, and that's going to cause them to miss a bunch of shots that just happened over there. So they're now actually pretty close to tied. But 498 is still going to make some shots from a surprising distance, and 8044 is still going to do their thing and be very, very, very good shooters. And you're again seeing Highlanders running to the other side of the field, playing a kind of hybrid defense and fuel stealing thing. So 9068 have a full hopper, and they're going to go back and just kind of patiently wait for their goal to turn back on. 4499 trying to get some last second fuel onto their side of the field. However, it seems like they've lost a swerve module or potentially stuck on top of a fuel. Something that robot is not quite driving right. So this Blue Alliance now is really facing an uphill battle. They need to catch up, but the Red Alliance is fuel starved. So if they have some kind of massive interruption in the next 24 seconds, the Blue Alliance could take this one. So it's really going to be all about, which alliance can be more effective in the last 20 seconds of this match. And 8044 and 498 are going to decide this match. And 498 have already filled up that hopper, and they're going to go send it. So, this was kind of 9068 running back onto their side of the field. This is, I think, is the area where you see the Red Alliance taking this one. And this end game is really what wins them the match. It's because 498 and 8044 spend some extra time filling up those hoppers. The Blue Alliance has so much fuel on their side of the field that 9068 eventually tries to go back to the center to go get, or they could have, in my opinion. And obviously, as an observer that's watching this match back, and being behind the glass is a totally different thing. If they had stayed on this side of the field and just kind of cleaned this up instead of 4499 doing it by themselves, they might have had a greater chance of success in this match, because they have more time to get more shots off in the end game period. Now, also to be fair to them, that fuel is kind of hard to see. So recognizing that it's there can sometimes be a challenge. It'll sometimes be a thing you forget to do when you're behind the glass. This particular sponsor banner thing kind of gets in the way of that. So that's something to keep in mind as well. If you're going to be behind the glass for this game, is that it can be kind of hard to see that fuel there. So just pay attention and look down every once in a while. And as you can see, the match ends 424 to 386. The 9068 and 4499 are trying until that last second to get that fuel off, but it's not quite enough. 8044's climb also ends up counting here, and that also seals the deal for this Red Alliance. So I think this game, this particular match highlights what high-level play could look like and how hectic it is out there. So I want to know, do you guys think the Blue Alliance could have done or should have done anything differently to try to take victory? in this match? Do you think that which of the two dimension strategy was more interesting or was better? Do you think more teams should be using the human player station during autonomous? Let us know in the comments. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. It's the Fun Robotics Network YouTube channel. I have been Stanford, and thank you for watching another episode of FUNalysis.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell to stay up to date on future fun videos. As you're getting ready for the competition season, think AndyMark as your one-stop shop for all your team needs. AndyMark's Launcher in a Box is a configurable solution that so many teams are finding success with for the rebuilt season. Also available at AndyMark.com, the AMPD AndyMark power distribution board that provides 24 40-amp independently fused output channels for safe, reliable power distribution. That's AndyMark.com. It isn't too late to order competition apparel for your team at FRC Tees. Founded by FRC alumni and offering a free 14-day turnaround with expedited options available, go to FRCtees.com to see why hundreds of teams are making FRC Tees their first choice for their apparel needs. That's FRCtees.com.